witnesses for being here. I put a lot of work into the First Step Act, and so I'm keenly interested in seeing to its proper implementation. If you don't mind, Mr. Markle, I'll begin with you. It's my understanding that the recidivism rate for incarcerated people who've been released through the First Steps Act reentry program is considerably lower than the general population. The numbers I've seen is about 12.5% recidivism versus 43% recidivism, so more than a 3 times reduction. And yet we've also heard that it's been hard for the Bureau of Prisons to implement this and to expand the programs as the bill expected because of staffing issues that have pulled people away from this particular work. Could you describe that situation to us so we've got it accurately from the BOP?
Absolutely. And the Council of Prison Locals, we represent the correctional workers inside the facilities. And what ends up happening is we have our rosters in place every day that we need a certain percent or a certain number of correctional officers to safely run an institution. What happens is our staffing complement has been reduced so far below what was appropriated by Congress. We're nearly 8,000 correctional officers short from what was appropriated through Congress. So what happens on a daily basis is we still have to maintain safety and security first, so they pull people out of the programming areas such as education, psychology, recreation, case managers, counselors, the people that are hands-on every day to do the First Step Act. They're pulled from their primary positions and they're placed in a position to be a correctional officer because we have to maintain a safe and secure institution first.
So they get pulled off so they can go stand post in the facilities.
Absolutely. You're working the position as a correctional officer. So if I go in as a teacher, I could be stopped on my way in and they say, you're not going to education today, you're going to go to a housing unit, you're going to be a correctional officer. Therefore, the programs are just shut down, the inmates are idle, and we're reducing the total number of staff that we have in the institution each day.
Well, thank you for your work. I've worked for a long time with the Brotherhood of Corrections Officers in Rhode Island who say quite accurately that they work the toughest beat in the state. And I appreciate the work that you all do, and thank you for explaining that for us. Mr. Smith, Rhode Island has had a lot of success encouraging participation in programs that reduce recidivism, primarily at our state incarcerated facility, the ACI. And now with this program, we're seeing the federal facilities beginning to catch up. At this point, more than 100,000 people have participated in these activities, and as I mentioned, the recidivism rate seems to be responding very powerfully. We got here because of a lot of support from law enforcement, and I want to take a moment to thank you for all of that and to ask you if there's anything that, from a prosecutor's perspective, you'd care to add. Is this working? Are there improvements? What would you like to see?
Well, certainly it's working because the data says it's working, and that's what we as prosecutors try to do, is be strategic in our approach to public safety. We do it with the prosecution of crime. We determine which cases we're going to divert away from the criminal justice system. We have very vibrant diversion programs across the United States in our prosecutor offices, whether it's a juvenile diversion program, a drug diversion program, because once again, we're taking a look at the difference between good people making bad decisions and bad people making bad decisions. We're diverting the good people, which apparently is what you're doing in Rhode Island, and we're giving them opportunity. We're also identifying them for early release because they are rehabilitated and less likely to reoffend. And those people who are violent, who pose a threat to public safety and pose a threat to reoffend, we're keeping in jail for their full sentence. So I would applaud Rhode Island, and I think Rhode Island is no different from the rest of the states in the United States and the prosecutors in that. We're just taking a look at how we can be better. A lot of people use the word reform. I just like improvement. I don't think we have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We're not trying to tear down everything that we've done. We're just trying to get better at it. And I applaud you, Senator, for your work on the First Step Act. And we're at NDAA, we're more than happy to join forces with you and other law enforcement partners in the future.
Much appreciated. I'll put another little Rhode Island flag in the ground here. Many, many years ago, we established a drug court quite early on that is now very established, very successful. We've also established a veterans court, and we're working on a mental health court as well. And the last time I went to one of these was to visit the veterans court. And I will tell you, having been a prosecutor and having seen what it's like when an individual is marched out the back of the courtroom, shackled, and in the arms of the security folks, and the courtroom is quiet, but for the sounds of family members sobbing, it is a very different feeling than when you get to the Veterans Court graduations, they call them. And the families have come to cheer on the veteran. The veterans community has come out in force because there are really significant veterans programs that can come to the aid of veterans and to get them on a really good path. There's a very impressive community of veterans who essentially staff the Veterans Court and interact with the individuals who've been charged and then sent to the Veterans Court. And then there's very good tracking afterwards to make sure that they don't recidivate, they continue on the path that they've been shown through the Veterans Court activities. And there's balloons sometimes, there's cake sometimes, their kids come dressed up, you know, girls in fancy dresses to come and see, like, Dad graduate. And once you've seen that, it leaves an impression that's very hard to forget. We are doing good here, and I thank you.
Thank you, Senator Whitehouse.